Today, we're diving into a company that's tackling a major health issue affecting millions of people. And let's be totally honest, can really ruin your day. What are we talking about? Migraines, those unwelcome guests that show up and refuse to leave, kind of like that one relative at Christmas. So I've been doing some digging into this company. I'm pretty excited about what we found. Company that wants to help you avoid those pounding headaches. Let's get into it. So today we're talking about Headfirst, or we're diving headfirst into Headfirst. Super cool company in the telehealth space. We have an article here from GeekWire. If my computer will work, there we go, beautiful. And it's titled "Startup Vet Kelly Smith Launches New Company Telehealth Company Targeting Migraines." So here you go. Kelly Smith looks like a great guy, Seattle based, and he's starting this company called Headfirst. It's a new company helping patients that need migraine medications. So, as you've heard of before, telehealth, we're all about it. Get you straight into the doctor's office without even leaving your house, get you the medications you need, get you on your way to no more headaches. So, this company is super cool. I'll let you guys read the article, it's in the description. Kyle will really love this. They're powered by Telegant, which is a AI startup that's powering the technology behind it. Gemini, think ChatGPT. It's basically helping diagnose and get exactly to what kind of headache syndrome or neurological syndrome you're having driving your headaches, giving you the treatment that actually is going to help you, and using AI and all this tech stuff, jumbled machine learning, all that cool stuff, get you right there. So that's a little bit about Telegant, but what we really care about is Headfirst. So a little bit of stats. 39 million people suffering from migraines. Not good, not good. That's about 10% of the population. Four out of five affecting typically women, and only 4% seek help from headache specialists. So that's pretty bad.
Hmm.
How Headfirst comes in, diving headfirst. It's your bread and butter sort of telehealth arrangement. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the business model in a second. But five easy steps. Take this quiz. They'll ask you a lot of cool medical questions, and a doctor, a NP, somebody who's licensed will look over your stuff, request more information as needed, and they'll send on over a recommendation for a product, either from their formulary, their own specific list of medications, or something that's already available at another pharmacy. They'll ship it to your house. They'll take care of refills. They'll talk to you on Zoom, on the phone, completely streamlined. No waiting around 6 months, 8 months for an appointment, adding more headaches. So again, pretty cool company. Started by these
A
tech
good
guys.
one.
Started by this doctor. Thank you very much. Really cool, innovative technology on the back end. I'll stop yapping. Kyle, tell me your reactions
Yeah.
from the business side. Is this a flop, or is this something that's going to stay?
Yeah, I think the migraines and headaches are here to stay. It's clearly a big issue. Just I know about it anecdotally, and I think that the data that you're showing there is pretty compelling. And more with telehealth, we're seeing that niche issues. That seems to be the landing for a lot of these startups. And then as they grow, maybe they expand into other areas of mental health or things depending on what kind of horizontal moves they want to do. But I think it's a good one. So I'm excited to see what they happen. So from more of kind of the clinical perspective, what does the landscape look like today to solve the same issue with migraines? And are they kind of offering something different in terms of the product? And I feel like what's the actual solution to migraines? It's pretty much popping some ibuprofen as it starts to come on right now. So I'm curious, what's the differentiator there from the clinical perspective?
Yeah. No, thank you. I'm no expert at migraines, but I know that having migraines is quite a headache. So with more of these headache jokes, we have here different medications. I think this is kind of their value add. If you're a patient, if you're a doctor, just curious, if you're an investor, this is kind of their claim to fame. All these custom medications, formulations, really. Think of like, you take one drug, you take another drug, you mix them together in one pill, bada bing, bada boom, you have a compounded formulation. So they have different medications here. There's something called abortive and preventative. So, abortive, in a nutshell, is when you're having the migraine, you take the pill and it helps stop it right away. And you have the preventative, it's before it happens, you take it and hopefully it never happens. So they have these medications, pretty interesting. You can order the medication. Obviously, you need a prescription for these, but you don't need insurance. This one called Zomies has two medications, zomatriptan and ondansetron. Kind of interesting. This one has nausea control too, which is a feature of people with migraines. 129 bucks every 3 months shipped straight to you. No insurance required.
Yeah,
But
not
yeah,
too
we're
bad.
we're starting to see this anti-insurance movement. A lot faster, a lot smoother. No phone calls, no anger, and no frustration or holdups. Just get the med and get out. So I
Yeah,
think this is
and
their
you know
claim to
exactly
fame.
what you're going to pay for it. Yep, yep,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yep.
The
And I
preventative
think,
piece is interesting
the
to me
migraine.
too. Go ahead.
Sorry, sorry. No, so you're saying something preventative piece.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big supporter of preventative healthcare. What do you think about preventative pharmaceuticals?
Yeah. Well, I think there's been a lot of medications that have come out in the migraine space. There hasn't been much innovation. Most of the innovation has been in how you take it, whether you take a pill, you take a shot, and how often you get that shot. Take a daily pill versus a shot you get once a week, once a month, once a year, even. Some studies they're trialing. So I don't think it's right now the game is not the necessarily the new medication or new class of medications, but how low of a burden can this be on my life? So I think that's kind of where they're going here is the combination angle of it.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah,
but these drugs work.
yeah,
These drugs work, and
yeah.
they're the first.
It's interesting.
They're the first line of defense.
Yeah, I think in a obviously a pretty crowded space, I'm sure with migraines, but also in general with telehealth, you have to come up with different differentiators. In this case, I think they're building somewhat of a moat with their unique formulations and their own specific products branded to them, but also the model of kind of how you subscribe to it and those sorts of things. Maybe there's some room to innovate there, but at the same time, it's like if it's worked well for some of the other companies that have launched into the stratosphere, Hims and Hers and Row and things like that, why reinvent the wheel, at least early on, right? Kind of land with what works and go from there. In terms of the sort of metrics so far, is there anything on where it's at as a business, like how many customers they have, things like that, or is it a little hard to tell from the outside? We'll have to get somebody on and interview them.
If you're hearing this, Kelly, come on. We love to pick your brain a little bit. It seems like it's a relatively new company. Seems like it's driven a lot by Kelly and his team over there and his investment group. He's a VC, looks like an entrepreneur. Seems very new. Uh, Not proven. Obviously, this is kind of the innovation that we need in the healthcare space. Just because it's not proven doesn't mean that it won't work. So I think it remains to be seen, in my opinion. So, do you have any opinions?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like maybe they're ramping up to raise money or something like that. They have this PR article out there, not much publicized yet in terms of funding and things like that. But yeah, they have maybe an MVP and some customers that prove that yeah, people actually want this. We're not just giving them the vitamins and things like that, but we're actually giving them the Tylenol for their true headaches that they're willing to invest in getting rid of. I think that yeah, there's a lot of sort of attractive aspects to it from an investor perspective. Growing market, migraine care, pretty high sort of patient pain, patient satisfaction, and pretty reasonable kind of price point that I'm sure is still high margin for them because they own the actual product. So it's not as much a service company. Maybe the clinical service and being able to prescribe is one of those kind of early things that they potentially lose a little money to acquire the customer, but then there's very, very high potential for long lifetime value, which is exciting on the tail end, as people have their problem solved. Yeah, they tend to kind of continue on medications for a very, very long time. So that could be interesting.
And I think the most interesting piece I'm curious about is this AI piece, turning kind of the what you put into the form and the quiz into AI generated insights. Kind of very lofty, but to improve diagnoses, to better personalize your treatment. Any thoughts on this in terms of the patient perspective? If you think this is useful at all, say you have migraines and you're kind of looking at this dashboard of data they're showing you about yourself and your
Mm.
symptoms. Anything actionable here or useful for the patient?
Yeah, and I think this is another flag that tells me maybe their fundraising is the mention of AI. Whenever whenever you see that on a startup, you know that they're kind of positioning themselves now. So yeah, I think here, hey, maybe AI has a great sort of way to tie in and answer those quizzes and kind of feed them in and match people with the right sort of product that would be relevant for them. Save time on the clinical side. Maybe it reduces down to just minutes what a physician or other kind of provider could look at and be able to decide and make a decision on the prescription side of things. Are these all prescription things that they have on their website, or is it over the counter? You can just buy it yourself if you want to.
That's a great question. Let me refer you to their pharmacist. No, I'm just kidding. It looks like, just kind of briefly looking over it, all of these are prescription. They
Interesting.
all
Yeah.
contain, I'm reading here, triptans, which are prescription medications
Mm,
for migraines. So can't just get it at CVS just because you want to.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the kind of proprietary piece of it, is that you can't just get their medications from their website at CVS. You have to get it from them. They made it specially. So I think they're really, end of the day, like customizing. They're in the customization business.
Yeah, yeah, and I think they're in the business of keeping you within their own network, sort of like Apple. You know, when you get the AirPods, when you get the iPhone, the Mac, it all connects together. That's what they seem to be doing here, and really building that moat to keep customers in and not allow them to kind of go over to the competitors. I think it's an interesting model, a lot of potential. I'd love to interview Kelly or anybody else over there if you are listening, and yeah, in terms of sort of advice or takeaways from a clinical perspective, what do you think, David? What would you tell them?
I think from a clinical perspective, I love this technology. I think, if you're a patient, definitely look into it. Doesn't cost anything just to fill out the quiz, see what kind of recommendations they're giving. From a provider standpoint, and if you're a PCP, if you're somebody who obviously is in a rural area, your patients are complaining that there's no neurologist they can see, they're having headaches, you don't know how to help them, the generic stuff really isn't working, send them over. I think it's worth a shot. Thank you everybody for tuning in today. If you like what you heard, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Just thumbsing up or commenting in the comment section really helps support us. If you're on YouTube, click subscribe. If you're on LinkedIn, click follow. Just doing that helps us out a bunch. Thank you again to our sponsor, the CE app. Track, report, connect your CE app information or your CE information for continuing education in seconds. Go to myceapp.com just for that. And looks like Kyle's buffering. So Kyle, when you see this, thanks again for a great episode and take care, everybody. Bye-bye.